Thank you so much for the over 4,000 subscribers. I appreciate the support. Basically, this video is in the 3 chapters. I'm going to talk about equipment and concepts. I'll do live fire training and the conclusion. So if you want to see the shooting, you can skip to the end. I'll put in timestamps in the description, but I'd behoove you to watch this as a complete video so you can get all the context. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the video. It's about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I do have a little bit of daylight. I'm headed out to the range. By the time I get set up, I'll have about like an hour, hour and a half to do some drills, some low light drills with the rifle. And then I'll be working on using some of the IR laser and light. I generally have a range plan, set drills that I want to work on. It was supposed to be a range day with the boys, but ain't nobody showing interest. And to be honest, I ain't chasing everybody down. And it's okay because this is going to be a little bit of me time. So my goals today, as I've been thinking through it and prepping to go, is very simple. Is I'm going to be testing my IR laser and IR lights in combination with my very, very budget night vision setup. So I don't have real deal night vision. That's just not on the cards right now. So the best I could do, just for the sake of just being able to have something that I could, realistically LARP around with, play around with, is the night operators. If you know, they're pretty budgety. I think they use like dash cams or something like that is for like the main cameras. I've got one that's just a night vision unit mixed with the thermal. The thermal is pretty cool, I'll tell you that. And thermals for the price is pretty good. I would imagine if you were going to get one unit, you would get that one because it has both that switch. They're not simultaneous. You switch back and forth. So while these don't really have the range of real night vision, the clarity, like it's like a 320 by 320, like potato quality pixelation, it's enough to see what you're doing when it's pitch black dark. I'm an advocate of learning night vision, your natural night vision, using red lights and white lights when you can. But a white light can easily blow out your natural night vision. Red light is always pretty good. But for pitch black, something's better than nothing. The detractors of this setup is that they've got built-in IR lights, and I can't remember the frequency, but it can be easily seen by security cameras, real night vision, other night vision, the same sort. So, right, as long as you're not dealing with anybody who's going to have night vision, it's going to be okay. I think these are designed kind of for like airsoft stuff, and they're not weatherproof at all. They feel like the housing is pretty solid, and I've got it mounted up on a bump helmet. It's like a quality airsoft one and some Chinese knockoff hardware. The fit and finish is pretty good on the hardware, and I've read reviews that it's very compatible or comparable to real deal stuff. Real deal stuff going to the military that's got an NSN number generally is overpriced because they're going to be bidding out to the military. So anyway, I've got some Earmore headset that I've got like the arc mount and stuff. So it looks cool, but to the trained eye, none of this stuff is high dollar real deal shit. What it does is allow me to experience having these devices, anything from the placement of the vision in front of your face, having enough space to see things, what you're doing below or just right below you or very close. Either you're looking up or you're looking in your peripheral down below the night vision, right? You're not going to really understand that until you start messing with this stuff. Generally, the focus is at distance. There's no like adjustment, even with digital. You've got to pick a focal length for your nods to where you can look. And for mine, it's set out at that 25, 30 yard range. It's really about as far as they can see, maybe 40 yards, right? And that's where I can see things to shoot them. So little nuanced things like that is not something you'd really understand without having a headset to mess with. I wanted to try to combine them both. I've got a setup for a couple of dual J arms to try to get dual night vision, like with two setups in it. You can kind of do it. and it's kind of fucky, and your eyes kind of got to get used to it, but it is kind of doable. I'm gonna try working with that. I don't know how much I'll get captured on camera. Jason's not with me today. Jason generally can record from his night vision, but I'm gonna try and set up as much as I can so you can at least see low light, and I'll be running the night vision with the IR. So you'll see that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Other things to consider is, like mounting moving stuff, not bumping your head. All that stuff is stuff that you don't need a $6,000 pair of nods to figure out. But this budget way allows you to experience a lot of that. Training with the laser, if you're using like a pad thing or a button. I don't like the pad thing, so I use the button. Having your setup like that. So these are all things that you can kind of learn before you invest in a real deal set, right? You don't want to get a real deal set, be smashing into things because you forget that it sticks that far out, even when it's folded back, et cetera, et cetera. Realizing you don't need eye cups because you kind of want that extra space to see things that are up close. Even when you're doing shooting, when you are going to use your pistol and you're not using your night vision, like iron sights or something, you can tilt your head back, look under the nods, and shoot that way. You can quick scan a room, right? If you're going to put in a light, it's going to blow out the whole room. You can look up and look around the room. Another thing to figure out is like the helmet fitment and how much things move around or what's comfortable or whatnot. I'm at the point where I do need something on the back to add a counterweight. I'd like to get, instead of like the pack that's just got the weights in there, I'd like to fill it with batteries. So at least I have batteries for my flashlight and stuff. I did switch out my flashlight from one of the G2X, something that might be a Taurus, I don't know, but something like that. But it's been more reliable as far as eating batteries or not eating batteries, rather. My ProTac, much brighter. I can spotlight fucking deer or whatever, like 50, 100 yards, easy. However, it eats batteries. I put in fresh batteries. I'll use it a couple times. Next time I go to use it at the range, it's fucking dead. So I switched the batteries, put that on my AK, since I don't use AK very much. And then I've been using this Surefire. They're like 80, 90 bucks. They got two modes. Low pressure. First push, it'll give you a low power light. And then double tap, it'll give you a bright light. So, John McPhee, for example, talks about when they were clearing houses and stuff in Iraq, they were using a lot of 30 lumen freaking incandescent flashlights. And all you really need is something to identify the hands, the face for intention or intent, and as well as what weapons they might have. And so if you're already in a very dark space, you don't really need that big bright light because they might blow out your vision, especially if you're indoors. Where those big bright lights are nice are if you got to highlight something outside, or it's daytime and you're looking in a dark alleyway or something, like for cops or whatever, and you need to highlight something or somebody. So my trade-off there is power for something a little bit more thin, a shorter range, good inside a home. But the main thing is the reliability. So it's just not in my budget to be spending a bunch on lights and shit like that. I like to work with what I got and run it, figure out the nuance. So the next time I upgrade, I'm very confident in what I want to buy as a replacement for that, whether it be like an optic or whatever, right? I run these cheap Hollow Suns. They work great. Of all the ones I've had, only my one original one kind of shit the bed after, tons and tons and tons of rounds on an SBR. For 140 bucks on sale, you can't beat that. So training goals today is managing my equipment. One thing one thing I noticed is like when you're going down to like cheek the rifle or bring it up, is not smashing your night vision device into the optic or into the magnifier if it's attached. Kind of shooting positions. Like, are you going to shoulder to keep your head up, look over and follow the laser? Or are you going to hold it kind of like Vietnam Rambo style, shooting from the hip, and then, watching the laser through your night vision So these are nuanced things that you can learn with a cheap night vision digital setup. The latency is really low, so that doesn't have that like delay that you would normally see with kind of night vision devices. The latency is 0.01 advertised, and I feel like that's that. I don't really notice anything abnormal as far as it being a delay that I even notice. And I feel like I'm pretty keyed up on, not on cocaine, but keyed up on seeing if something is actually looking kind of funky. All right, I forgot my timer. This is just going to be an exercise in movement with the rifle. Hot suppressor, the light has been moved, running the laser, the optic. I can probably ditch the 3x magnifier. So the idea is to run it with kind of encumbered with equipment that you don't normally wear while you're at the square range, right? And I don't know how much you can see of this, but I'm going to run a couple of reps. All right, I've moved the car. We've got these barrels kind of in line. I'm just going to move barrel to barrel. There I'm back shooting. You should see the white target. I flipped it so that way it shows up against the berm. It's really just for the camera, right? So again, I'll be using white light, then the laser. I've got 3 mags, 10, 10, and 10. Good. On that, really just 2 on the far, probably right side C-zone. Just trying to get this confirmed shots. Just firing 1 or 2 from each position. And then the reload on the run kind of just happens whenever it happens.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
All right, I'm gonna be shooting kind of heads up, looking for the laser. It's gonna mimic how I perform with the IR. Shoot, ready, stand by. Target. I'm gonna run this one with the night vision. Well, I'll tell you what, that experience was humbling, just as far as struggling with equipment, right? It's so easy to get a rifle out, no helmet, no nothing, gloves and whatnot, and then trying to not fall and shoot. In this case, you know, it's not like it's the best clarity, so it's hard on the eyes. So trying to make my good shots. These are a couple that I call on the right for sure. How many of these were from my last run? I have no idea. However, most of them enter center A zone, a little bit higher. I imagine the lower ones are from the IR. Again, the IR blows everything out, right? So everything blows out. My laser thing is like out this big, right? So I'm just aiming at kind of center, height over bore, right? So the shots that are up high would hit down here. Anything that was center is going to hit low right here. So that's going to be my different shots, all lethal hits. You know, lungs, right? This bottom lungs, maybe liver, right? Depends. Liver here. This one, the gut shot, might not be immediately fatal, but will eventually be fatal and very painful. Again, if I break, well, actually, no, it's centered on, so it might break the spine. So not too bad. Good experience to kind of figure out what I need to fuck with. A is, you know, you have lack of feeling when you run on gloves. I've got to fix my helmet for sure. Got to get a counterweight. And then I've got to fix the left ear thing that pops off. And as soon as it pops off, it stabs into my head. So that kind of sucks. Other than that, I felt pretty good about it. Just a good, just a fucking kind of cold start. Run the equipment, see what you need to fix. Could everything have been faster? Absolutely. Could everything have been more accurate? Absolutely. But this is a good starting point for me, so happy with that. I got my laser dialed in with my dot at a further distance, so I feel like it's a little bit more accurate. So at this distance, you know, it's offset by a little bit high and a little bit to the right. It's okay. It's still below the dot. Anyway, so thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.
Guys, thank you for the support. If you like the content, please subscribe, like the video, and comment. Tell me what you think.